Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. If you can hear me okay, give me thumbs up. Yes, fantastic. Great. Hi, I'm Nikki in Mountain View, California on ceded Ohlone land. And welcome to Happy Hour. So who would like to say hi? You're welcome to unmute yourself or put your hello in chat as a way for us to warm up with friendliness and warmth. Hello, says Bill from Dallas.
Neil from New Hampshire.
Hi, Neil. Good evening to you. Hi, Mima from Yucca Valley, the high desert. I love Yucca Valley. Oh, I've enjoyed my visits there. Beautiful. Hi, Padma from Belmont. Hi, Jerry from Toronto. We're international. Aloha from Oahu. Hi, Amy. Leslie, hi from San Jose. Hi, Eric and Craig from Florida. Welcome. And hi, Sarah from Toronto, our Canadian contingent. And Desiree from Michigan. Sweet.
Hi, Fred in Oakland.
Hi, Fred. Good to see you. And Carrie says hi from Chili, Philly on YouTube. Sweet. Any other hellos? Expression of hi, aloha, metta. Okay, we're going to get started then. Time to get started. So thank you, Neil, for posting information on Zoom about Happy Hour Google Groups. We have a low traffic mailing list, and also there is information about how to offer yourself and other folks safety and care when we transition to small groups after the meditation. So at this time, I changed the settings so unmuting won't be possible, so the space stays quiet. And I also changed the chat settings, but I ask you to keep it quiet, even though you can still send me chat, but it can be distracting to receive chats in the middle of teaching. So let's keep that quiet. And last but not least, I turn on recording for the sake of audio Dharma. Okay, here we go. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Happy Hour. So this week, for those of you who also attend the 7 a.m. Teachings, or that Gail usually does, this week I'm substituting for Gail, and I'm covering a teaching on what's called the 5 aggregates. Anyway, the 5 heaps, the 5 khandas. Now, what I wanted to discuss tonight is actually related to something I shared this morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and it's about our perception. So today, this morning, I talked about perception or recognition. This amazing capacity, this constituent of our experience, which is recognizing, which is perceiving what arises and what arises in our field of experience, to recognize that, to say this is that. Basically, we're being pattern recognition machines in many ways, given our background, our history, our mind states. It's dependently arisen based on so many factors. This recognition, this recognizing, this is that, this is that. That's what this sanya, or this recognition in Buddhism, it points to a little more simple, much simpler than the concept of recognition or perception in psychology. So how does it relate to happy hour? The way I like to invite us to practice with this today is recognizing that our recognition is very shiftable, changeable. It's not fixed. It's not inherent in a particular person or object or situation. It's malleable. Our recognition or classification of something as friendly or unfriendly or good or bad, it's very, very malleable. That's one of the primary teachings of the Buddha, which really relates to this concept of emptiness, when we hear that, we think of nullness, but it's this codependently arisen, it's dependent, that our recognition is dependent on so many different things, including our state of mind, including how we've primed ourselves. Things are not fixed. They are malleable. They're changeable. There's not a truth or reality with capital R out there. It's all phenomenologically determined. And so is our level of freedom, our level of happiness. We've talked about happiness is a choice you make. And in many ways, our perception, our recognition is primed through our experience, is primed through how we cultivate our mind and hearts. If we turn towards friendliness, if we turn towards a perception of safety, goodness, kindness, happiness, that's the perception that arises. That's the state that arises. This is really, really powerful. We perceive things, people, thoughts, objects, our own behavior in a more friendly way, and there's more freedom. Then we don't perhaps judge things in such a judgmental way. There's more freedom from clinging, from becoming identified and fixed in a particular view. Anyway, that's all a long short Dharma. So I'm going to leave that as the priming for our guided meditation. And you don't have to have heard my talk this morning at all. Everything you need to know is shared with you right now, both in the Dharma as well as the guided meditation. So you can let all of that go, all of the thoughts and concepts go. And let's turn to practicing together. Let's arrive together. Let's turn. Let's turn our awareness to this body in this moment in time. Regardless of whatever has been happening just before this moment. Maybe you were busy, full, agitated. It's all okay, not a problem. Can we intentionally bring a perception of spaciousness? Can we intentionally recognize that there's a lot of spaciousness around? There's a lot of air around us, space around us. Letting ourselves recognize, just as there's space outside, our bodies, our hearts can relax. And notice there is space inside. And more space with each In breath and out breath as we settle. Letting the body, the mind, the heart relax can be put down if there are preoccupations. And instead of being stuck in a loop, turn to the perception of openness and ease. It's also here. That is here as well. With each breath, you can always pick up the entanglement later. We can choose to perceive spaciousness, ease, a sense of refuge in the heart and mind in this moment. It is available. Can we expand this perception of spaciousness to include the perception of a recognition of relative safety? You're probably indoors, protected, safe enough from the elements. And of course, there's not absolute safety in this world, and yet we can tune. Instead of tuning into perception of lack of safety, we can choose to perceive, to recognize that there is safety. It's an inclination, pattern of the mind. We can turn towards that, recognizing the comfort, comfortable enough, perhaps where you are sitting, meditating. Opening, turning this, knowing this perception to including the goodwill that is available for you. Many people in this world have wished you well, wish you well now, are friendly towards you, care about you. Could just be a few people. You don't need a crowd. But turning towards this perception of friendliness. Be a child, a pet. This recognition of goodness. Let yourself smile and enjoy it. This recognition of goodwill. You have choice. What you choose to lean into, to recognize. Let yourself savor recognition, goodwill, kindness, generosity. Around you. For you or others. Wherever the heart feels uplifted in its recognition and its perception of goodness. You may have received support, kind words, a smile. So many ways of receiving goodness. Letting your heart be uplifted by recognizing goodness around you and your own goodness, to recognize it, to receive it, to let yourself receive it. It is too an act of generosity to let us receive generosity. An act of goodwill to let ourselves receive goodwill, friendliness, care. Now, if you like, letting yourself recognize, turn towards, perceive the goodness in you, not shying away from it. Turning towards a perception of goodness, kindness, generosity, care. And let it nourish your heart, uplift you. And now, if you like, you can stay with these two recognitions, receiving and giving of goodness, metta, goodwill, generosity of spirit. Or if you like, you can now turn to the perception, perceiving, recognizing the conditions for happiness or being happy that are available in your life. Our minds usually turn to what's not here, what's challenging, what's difficult. But perceive, recognize the conditions, the supportive conditions for the mind to be at peace, uplifted, with gladness, with contentment. Maybe a roof over your head, maybe friends, family, living in a situation that's safe enough. No world wars right now. Stable period. No lockdowns. The world is relatively normal. So appreciating there's food to eat. You're supported in so many ways. And now recognizing that there is support for enough health that you can show up and listen, comprehend, follow, understand. This practice, recognizing the conditions to support happiness, contentment of the body. Even if there might be illness, old age present, but well enough, can you recognize that? Recognizing the wholesomeness of the conditions, and you have a precious human birth. So much opportunity to wake up, both through the support as well as the challenges of your life. Grist for the mill of awakening, of growing in compassion. Recognizing goodness of even challenges. The way they stretch you. You get stretched, opened up, softened, tenderized. And as we turn to close this meditation together, can we recognize, perceive goodness in ourselves, in our community, in our circumstances, for having been able to show up, come together and practice? You're listening to this later on Audio Dharma. The goodness of being able to do this, listen to this, and join many others, maybe not in time, but in spirit. May all beings everywhere benefit from the goodness, this co-created goodness. May they benefit, may they recognize goodness. May I recognize the goodness in my life. May my practice be of service to all beings everywhere, including myself. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your practice. So, recognition, recognizing, perceiving can take so many different perceptions on. We can choose and put on a grumpy perception through the lens of grumpiness. We can put on a perception. Choose a perception of gratitude, of appreciation, kindness. So, I'd like to invite us to engage in small groups with this perception, with choosing perceptions. Recognition. What do we choose to recognize? How we choose to recognize. And let us engage again in small groups. We're exploring for our own benefit. The two other people are just holding witness. They're perceiving goodness. You're only speaking, exploring for your own benefit. You're not speaking for their benefit. And if you're listening and you didn't even understand what they said, it's okay. Don't ask questions. You're just holding witness. Let them explore. We're serving each other in this way, in this beautiful way. So give it a try. Just really give it a try. As one of you reported on Monday, I just really appreciated that sense of safety. Okay, let me explore for my own sake. How was this practice? What did you recognize from turning to recognizing, choosing to perceive goodness? What shifted? What happened? Please offer one short nugget. Let another person offer a short nugget, really, or rather explore a short nugget. The next person explores a short nugget. Then it comes back to you and you go round and round a few times. It's not a long monologue. After you hear others, you get inspired to explore some more. And let's go in alphabetical order according to first name, closest to the beginning of the alphabet. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be kind, and lean into the perception of goodness. How can we lean into that? Okay, I'm going to open up the rooms and see what you discover. Let yourself be surprised. Here we go. Okay, the rooms are closed. Everybody's back. Welcome back, everyone. And the chat is open if you'd like to share any questions or reflections about what you discovered, either in the meditation or when you were exploring in small groups. Also, if you haven't spoken in the large group for a while, I invite you to pull forward, raise your hand, bring your voice in. And if you have recently spoken, please pull back, let others share reflections. Bill.
Hey, what I was struck by in this meditation is something that I've noticed in me before, which is that the negative stuff, negative perceptions, has such a strong pull, and there is a very twisted sort of enjoyment of thinking of all these things that are wrong, and it's not healthy, but it's the pull is so strong. I don't know if I have a question here. It's just making an observation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. This is a terrific observation. This is called an insight, what you just shared. It's an insight that comes from practice when you really pay attention. And you see, wow, there is such a strong pull. There's this habit pattern of the mind going there. And then, oh my, there's also enjoyment, even though it's not healthy and really doesn't feel good. But the mind seems to be enjoying being in this grumpy, negative state of perception. This is so profound to know this, to see this clearly as you have been, because many people go through their entire lives and never really see this clearly. And seeing it clearly is the first step for this pull to become weakened, because when you see the pull, then it starts to lose its hold, its energy, its power. It happens little by little. So this is just terrific. I'm so glad you observed this for your own sake and also shared it with the community. Jerry says, I like the idea of seeing a challenge as something to bend into and to see it as a gift to have this challenge. Yeah, they are. They stretch us, they mold us. Yeah. And it's a gift to be alive, to have challenges to grow through. Vicky on YouTube says, I'll share that I feel more ease after doing this practice, much less grumpy. Oh, that's great. It's sweet. Yeah, the reflections before we bring our time together to a close. Anything else you noticed? Fred, I saw your hand show up and disappear. Please raise your hand if that was intentional.
Yes, sorry, my fumbling fingers.
All good.
So I'm aware doing this meditation, and often others like it when we come back to reflect upon our own goodness, that there's just not as much juice in it when I consider myself. And I can think of friend or family member, and if I wanted, I could establish some sort of critical distance from them and say, well, of course they reap all these benefits from their unselfishness, their generosity, that the sort of the wise selfishness is at play with them, but I don't do that with them. I just admire their presence and their action, but I just find it harder with myself. Not entirely, I'm realistic about it. I see that I can do things that are kind and generous, but I cannot step into the sort of full-throated experience of it like I can for a beloved family member or friend.
Thank you for seeing this and verbalizing it so clearly, eloquently, Fred. This is common. And so I so appreciate you bringing into the container of this practice of our community today. So, couple of reflections. One is, since you already said that for you it is easy to do it with people, with other people, to care that you care about, friends and family, to just rejoice in their goodness, to without being critical, and just rejoice. Let your heart be uplifted in their goodness. So yay, that's available. Fantastic. So it's like in math, how we do QED, we reduce a problem to an already solved problem. So this solution is already available. So what then I suggest is to step away from yourself, to see yourself as your friends and loved ones and relatives see you. So take that third person perspective, because you can already do that. Your heart, your mind already knows how to do that. And through time, rejoicing in your own goodness from this third person. In fact, put yourself in a group. In fact, this would be the step. So take Fred's perspective, seeing your friend, and then your friends, family, multiple ones. And then add yourself to them, add yourself to their group. So it's a group that you're seeing the goodness of. And if it starts to, it's kind of like skillful, it's like skillful bringing group together, so that energy of rejoicing is going towards you. And now, yeah, towards you too, Fred. Oh, he's such a good person, generous, kind. Look at his goodness as well as this other person. So heart can rejoice, and little by little turn towards yourself as an individual, and then turn to yourself as yourself. But break it down to these multiple steps.
Thanks. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. This is exciting. Yay. Thanks so much for bringing this in. I am rejoicing in your goodness and the goodness of your question, Fred, and your practice. May you so I invite you to rejoice in my rejoicing of your goodness and generosity and kindness. Yeah. So, dear ones, let's dedicate the merit of our practice together. May we perceive goodness in the world. May we grow through our perception, our recognition, help goodness grow in the world. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy, including ourselves. Thanks, everyone. Be well. I'm going to stop the recording and the live stream.